Okay, hear me out. People love to debate about who would make the best theoretical arm wrestler, past or present. People like Shaq. People like Brian Shaw. Well, what if we took all of those suggestions, put them into a tournament bracket, and had people vote on the winner of each matchup until we had an ultimate theoretical arm wrestling GOAT? Well, that's what we're going to try to do here, so let's get into it. Alright, first we got to set some ground rules. Each candidate is going to start at 25 years old, train for 10 years, and under the tutelage of a master, someone like Engin Terzi. So then all the competitors are going to be 35, around their prime, and have 10 years of arm wrestling training under their belt. Alright, that standardizes things. Because again, you can pick people in the past, people who are too old today to be competitive. In this scenario, they're all 35 years old with 10 years of training under a master under their belt. All right, next, how do we get our candidates? Well, you suggest them to me. In fact, a couple months ago, I posited this question to the subreddit, just for fun. I didn't have this video series idea in mind, and they gave me some good responses. So that's going to be our starting pool, right? And now there are thousands of potential candidates here, so we're going to break it up. I'm going to do 8-man brackets, and a bunch of them, and then the winner of each of those 8-man brackets are going to go into an ultimate bracket, and the winner of that will be the absolute GOAT of theoretical arm wrestling. Okay, so all you have to do is just get your suggestion to me in one way or another on Facebook. Leave a comment here, tell your friend who knows my third cousin, who then is going to see me at a birthday party, and then he can tell me. Just get me the name any way possible, and they'll go into my list for consideration and for future brackets. We're going to be going over the first few suggestions from that subreddit thread in this video, just 5 people, because I don't want the video to get too long. And then in another video, I'll introduce the next 3, and then I'll send out a ranked choice voting sheet to everyone, and they can all vote on who they think would win, and that's how we'll determine the brackets, right? It's not going to be me just saying this guy wins because I think so, right? It's going to be a more democratic process there, and it's going to be fun. So make sure you like and subscribe, and please participate, right? This is gonna have to be a community effort, so if it works out, this could be super cool, and plenty to talk about. All right, let's get into things. Andre the Giant was suggested by user Mr. Chutney. So his nickname was 8th Wonder of the World, and he truly was a giant. So he was a professional wrestler and weighed 520 pounds, 7 foot 4 inches tall, and he had acromegaly, which is when your body produces too much growth hormone, and so certain parts of the body get very large, which in arm wrestling is quite the advantage. He had size 20 shoes and had to use a pencil for rotary phones. For all you youngins out there, not that I ever used a rotary phone, but rotary phones have those, rotational dials where you have to put your finger in and rotate the dial to the number you want to dial, right? You don't just touch a button anymore, or back then. So the dude was enormous, right? And extremely strong. I mean, you can watch his matches in the WWF, now known as the WWE. He's lifting people up, throwing them around. I mean, the dude was an actual giant. So we actually have a clip here just so people get familiar.
Him down on the mat, it's trouble, all right.
Oh, slam! Andre picked him up with ease.
Yeah, so that's Andre the Giant, effortlessly picking up Hulk Hogan and slamming him down. So, I mean, say what you will about wrestling, that takes strength. And I mean, he's doing that with all kinds of very heavy, large arm wrestlers. And just look at the lad, my goodness. So that's competitor number 1.
Him down on the mat, it's trouble, all right.
Move on to the next slide here. There we go. Number 2, Brian Shaw. This was suggested by DP Tusk on Reddit. So nicknamed, well, not nicknamed, but he's known as one of the goats of strength. And very interestingly and coincidentally, Derek Smith, I think right this moment, is actually with Brian Shaw, training him to get into arm wrestling. And Brian himself said, he seems pretty serious about it. And this is a clip from a recent Derek Smith video, still from a recent Derek Smith video of him and Brian actually arm wrestling on the table. Derek's coaching him, and you can see Brian's he's trying, he's learning top rolling, all the intricacies of arm wrestling. So I wouldn't call him an arm wrestler yet. He's safe. That's a fair pick for this. He wouldn't call himself an arm wrestler. We're not calling him an arm wrestler. So he is a theoretical arm wrestler still. So you get a pass, DB Tusk. So he's obviously a strong man, 4-time winner of the World's Strongest Man with 2 second places. He's 6 foot 8 inches tall, 440 pounds, has the world record for the Atlas Stone, a 552-pound stone to a 4-foot platform, and the keg toss at 33 pounds over 25.4 feet. Monster human, super duper strong, but we all know arm wrestling is weird. It's super weird. Traditional strength doesn't always immediately transfer to the arm wrestling table. Smaller, weaker dudes beat bigger ones and stronger ones all the time. So certainly, I would say one of the favorites, but again, we got to look at the intricacies of the sport. Does Brian have that potential? Does he have that athleticism? He certainly has the drive to learn a strength sport, but yeah, definitely one of the strongest competitors. And this is what I was talking about here. That's all you get. Go to Derek's channel. He's pumping out content. I'm sure Brian Shaw's channel is going to be coming out with content, but just so you know, it's not a troll. This is really happening. All right, let's move on to the next slide here. There we go. Wilt Chamberlain was one of the suggestions. He played in the NBA and was a legend. So Wilt the Stilt was one of his nicknames. And I mean, that picture kind of says it all. He's wearing an Overbrook shirt, and that was his high school. So this is high school Wilt. And if you saw on the thumbnail another picture of him a bit older, I mean, the wingspan on this guy is ridiculous. So he was 7'1". Just let's get that out of the way. So he's over 7 feet, which is a very small club. And his wingspan was 7 foot 8 inches, which means his wingspan was 7 inches longer than his height. On average for men, their wingspan is 2 inches longer than their height. So not only was he super tall, but he had a particularly big wingspan for his height. So what a combination. He holds the single game record at 100 points in the NBA still. In second place is Kobe at 81. So even still a pretty big gap there. So he was extremely athletic and tall and knows how to dedicate himself to a sport. So very, very interesting pick here. I love this one. Did not see it coming, but that's what makes this whole game interesting. There's all kinds of people out there who would make theoretically good arm wrestlers. So if I was coaching him, I'd teach him a nice posting top roll. But hey, you never know. Sometimes longer people are good hookers too. So here's a quick little clip of him.
Still,
yeah. He skips to do a windmill dunk. He just skips, doesn't jump. He skips. So there you go.
Still.
All right. Next we have Mark Felix, the Miracle Man. Thank you, Grave Dole, for this suggestion. Legendary strength athlete. Here he is. This is probably Giants Live, which Neil Pickup is actually a commentator for, funny enough. So he's a strong man, elite level strength even into his 50s. And that's a key point there that the user pointed out because it shows enormous genetic potential. He started at 37, so a late start, still got to an extremely high level in strength and has held on to it. So this guy's really a genetic phenomenon. Not that you needed me to tell you that, just look at him. So he's got multiple podium finishes at Giants Live. I mean, you can look at his strongman career. He's just on the podium in a bunch of different events. And he holds the world record for the Hercules hold, which we'll see that in a second. And he's 6'4", 310 pounds. So here's the Hercules hold.
About Mark Felix. And you only have to meet this guy once to know why.
There's Neil.
Mark Felix locks him, and look at that, no messing around, and he's straight into action.
Yeah, so he holds the world record for this. And I mean, it's debatable how much this would exactly translate to arm wrestling, that kind of grip strength, but certainly wouldn't hurt and certainly shows a ton of strength in those hands. And I don't care, you're going to feel that when you grip up with him.
About Mark Felix.
Next, next, Potato Monster Man suggested, everybody loves Raymond's brother Robert. So, Gen Z people, sorry, you might not know this this sitcom, but this was like all the rage in, was it probably the late 90s? Everybody loves Raymond, and Raymond's brother was this just giant lumbering guy named Robert. And sorry, but I mean, the best stats I could come up with is that he's huge and he's funny. Maybe that would help. Here's a clip of him.
You mean this is where we're doing it? In the basement? It's supposed to look like a $2,000 picture.
Yeah, so there you go. And Ray's no small guy himself. So that just goes to show you everything is on the table here. All right, if you have a weird, wacky suggestion, let me know. Leave a comment. Doesn't matter how you do it. Just get the message to me, and I'll take it into consideration for the next bracket. And we'll eventually make our way to the GOAT theoretical arm wrestler. All right, everyone. So thank you for watching. Please partake, vote, give me suggestions, and this could be a really fun thing for the community to do. All right, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll let you know when the first bracket is ready to go. Thanks for watching. Take care.